Since the students seemed to look confused as to what a blog was, I asked them if they had ever watched the TV show Dog with a Blog. After that, I could see the aha, and you'll notice that the survey results, most of the students have at least heard of a blog, but they'd never really had a whole lot of experience with it. With the information from the survey, I posted it to the blog, and the next day the students came in activating Google Sheets and created a graph regarding the survey results. I spent the evening after class looking over the students' graphing results. They really didn't do too bad with Google Sheets. For part 4, I had them watch a video below and told them that they would be expected to answer one of 8 questions. Although there are 7 listed here, there was one more video, quick video to watch, and that dealt with the benefits of learning how to blog. After having watched both of the videos, the students were going to learn how to download a Google Chrome extension to the Chromebooks. Most of them had never really been to the Google Chrome web store before, so I wrote down a set of directions and included a QR code. They had to type in a search for the QR code extension and add it to their Chromebook accounts. Once the QR code extension was added to their Chromebook account, at the top of the screen they needed to click on the extension to allow the Chromebook to access the webcam. Then they scanned this QR code. If any of them had trouble, since they did have to pick up the Chromebook and face it towards the LCD screen, if they were having trouble with the QR code, I did kind of cheat and allow them the web address in order to get to the Padlet in order to answer the questions. For the sake of time, I gave each student a number 1 through 8. Then they had to report to the Padlet. They had to type their name and answer their assigned question on the Padlet. You can see several of our students also found other uses for the webcam. In part 7 of the assignment, I had the students meet the children blogging about their world. They visited this website, chose one child blogger, and then used a Google Doc right here to answer 7 questions. Here's a sample of the child blogging website. Here's a sample of the Google Doc questions that the students needed to answer. For part 8, I wanted the students to take a look at some different kinds of blog sites, at least examine 3 blog sites. So I categorized them into kids blogs, classroom blogs, and miscellaneous blogs. Each of the blogs held information about various topics. For those that were looking for blogs that were a little different or wanted a challenge, I offered them that when they were finished researching the blogs that I had available, they certainly could go off and find blogs on their own. I could see it in their eyes. The students were ready to get blogging.
Let's get it started in here.
At the same time, I wanted to show them just one more form of multimedia that could be uploaded into a Weebly. I also wanted to reiterate to them that YouTube videos could be uploaded into Weeblies as well. In order to learn how to sign into a Weebly for education, I uploaded a YouTube video to Weebly. Once students were signed into Weebly, the very first screens prompt you to pick out a theme and also to choose a title for your blog. The students had several themes that they could look through, and I let them know that they could always go back and change the theme and the title of their blog without a problem. So once they made those choices, I had them blog a little bit about themselves. We talked about how it's not safe to review too much information, but we did want to introduce their blog in some way. The next class period, we talked about the ABCs of how to post. A stands for acknowledge something that the blogger wrote. B, build on their comment. Or C, conclude with a critical thought or Socratic question. I provided students with other blogging tips, what to do and what not to do. After teaching students a new method, it's always a good idea to model what you've taught. So I made sure to visit each student's blog that evening and respond back using the ABC posting method. The next day in class, students took a look at the feedback that I provided them using the ABC posting model. Then we went over the blogging and posting rubric. In the first section, an excellent was worth 4 points, average 3, below average 2, and an unsatisfactory would be worth 1 point. I made sure to emphasize to students that their blogs could be edited and revised, but that they needed to remember when they were posting to someone else's blog that that information would not be able to be edited by them. On the third section of my model blog post, I included a section called Student Blogging, and this is where I went in and made sure that I had a list of all of the students and how and if I could get to their blog website or not. Notice how I jotted down notes, and students then went in to see what it is that they needed to fix. Although we just got started blogging, I could already see the variety of different topics students were interested in writing about. This first sample has a student writing reviews about video and computer games. Blog number 2, this student's interest lies with animals. Student blog number 3, she has an interest in fashion. Student blog number 4, this student's interested in providing book reviews. And in student blog number 5, he's interested in science fiction and would rather use his blog as a form of storytelling. And surprisingly, I have a very shy student, so something like blogging just gave me great insight into who she really was. She suggested that she had very strong opinions about things, so when she was unsure as what to blog about, I suggested that she read some newspaper articles and perhaps choose a side and be a little persuasive about her feelings of current events. A lot of differentiation can occur during student-teacher conferences. And I was happy to notice that some students were attempting to insert multimedia and some of the Weebly tools that are being offered, such as this student here who has inserted a survey into her blog. Since there were many steps to get students up and blogging, I decided to create a blogging checklist that outlines all 12 mini lessons. Students can leave this out on the desk and simply put a check mark next to the ones that they've completed. This also helps to communicate to the teacher where the student is in regards to getting ready for conferences about blogging. After students have had some practice blogging, we're going to make certain that we pull out that rubric, and when we sit down to conference with the student, they have a chance to self-evaluate. At a future point in time, teachers will go in and use the rubric to grade the students' blogs. At the conclusion of the blogging unit, students will be asked to fill out a survey. The survey responses will be used by the teacher to help improve the lesson for future use.